Will they or won't they? It's a century-old tale, and by a century, I mean anything between 4 to 6 seasons. They know they have a chokehold on fans with these couples. I had such a hard time deciding which couples to include, so let me know in the comments if I missed your favorites and I'll include them in a future video. Richard Castle and Kate Beckett. Even though Beckett initially tried to get rid of Castle, their chemistry was clear from the moment they met. We can see a more genuine friendship start to develop during season 2, particularly after Castle tries to catch the hitman who killed Beckett's mother. We see both of them involved in various romantic entanglements throughout the show. In season 3, the pair kisses for the first time, but it was to distract a god. While it's obvious that the kiss represents much more than a silly ruse, we are still left hanging on by a thin thread of wanting these two together. While the show continues to entertain us with riveting cases, it all comes to a head when Beckett is shot and Castle confesses his love for her. All is well, right? He confessed his love. They're together now, right? No. Beckett doesn't remember this confession. Or does she? Spoiler alert, she heard him and just acted like she didn't. The dance between these two characters being together or not continues for a while until season 4. Kate confesses that while she almost died in a case, the only person she could think about was Castle. As season 5 kicks off, the pair agrees to pursue a serious relationship. By the time season 6 rolls around, they face a few challenges, but get engaged and gets married in season 7. And they lived happily ever after. Yeah, no, you didn't think that was the end of the story, did you? The pair take a break when Beckett goes off to a dangerous man who could see her attachments as liabilities. Feeling frustrated yet? I know I was. They finally get back together, and then they live happily did I mention they get shot first? No? Okay, well, they get shot in the final episode, and they crawl to each other. The screen goes black, and that's the end. I'm just kidding. There's a flash forward 7 years into the future, and they're happy with 3 kids running around, and that is the end. Temperance Brennan and Seeley Booth. Bones, bones, bones. Where do I begin? For one, I was scared I'd be a skeleton by the time this couple got together. It took them a whole 6 seasons to get together. Their relationship remains professional, with intense chemistry and flirty banter and overdrive for a whole 6 seasons. They almost get together a few times during the show, like in season 5 when Booth admits his feelings and wants to give their relationship a shot. Brennan says no and they continue working together. It is only at the end of season 6 that it is revealed that Brennan is pregnant with her and Booth's first child. This is where we start moving towards serious relationship territory. Hello? Yes? Is this the police? Yeah. I'd like to report a robbery. Yes, we got robbed by not seeing Brennan and Booth at the start of their relationship. Instead, they skip forward and we see a heavily pregnant Brennan and Booth already in a relationship, ready to move into a house together, and exchanging I love yous for the first time. After moving into the house of their victim, well, it is a pretty nice place. They settle in a bit. A few more things happens next. Brennan gives birth to their little girl in a barn. Brennan becomes the main suspect in a murder and flees with their baby. Brennan gets shot, and then they finally get engaged. But then, thanks to this suspect, Booth is forced to end their engagement without telling Brennan why. As soon as they take the suspect down, though, Booth proposes to Brennan, and they get married in episode 6 of season 9. In season 10, we learn the pair is going to have a second child, and except for that one time where everyone thinks Booth is dead, the two happily continue their relationship. But before we end, can we just take a moment to appreciate these two? And also, these two. I swear, I love the relationships in Bones. Next we have Gilmore Girls. No, this video isn't about Rory. Frankly, after those reunion episodes, I'm not that interested in Rory's poor choices anymore. I'm talking about Lorelei's poor choices instead. This love story starts in the best place, a friendship. In season 1, we get a small glimpse of what can develop between these two, only for her ex Christopher to show up and ruin the moment. They start getting more serious in season 4.
So I'm looking at this piece of paper in my hand, and under Scorpio, she'd written, "You will meet an annoying woman today. Give her coffee and she'll go away." I gave her coffee.
But she didn't go away.
She told me to hold on to that horoscope, put it in my wallet, and carry it around with me. One day it would bring me luck.
Well, man, I will say anything for a cup of coffee. I can't believe you kept this. You kept this in your wallet? You kept this in your wallet.
8 years.
And Lorelei ultimately ends up proposing to Luke. Thank goodness that didn't take too long. The wedding planning begins, but the wedding is postponed until after Rory and Lorelei reunites. Maybe I spoke too soon. It is then revealed that Luke has a secret daughter, and the wedding is postponed just one more time to allow him to grow that relationship. After many complications, it all reaches a boiling point when Lorelei lays out an ultimatum. Either they elope or they are done. Luke hesitates, and that is enough of an answer for Lorelei. To find some comfort, Lorelei heads over to none other than Christopher. See, poor choices. The next morning, when Luke shows up telling her he's ready to elope, she admits that she spent the night with Christopher, which ends their relationship. She ends up marrying Christopher. It doesn't last long though, and they divorce. Luke and Lorelei ultimately get back together, and that is where the show ends. Now for the revival, reboot, I don't know what they call it, but during those episodes, one of the best things we saw was them finally decide to get married, and that is where their story ends. Next up, we have New Girl. In this one, we will be focusing on Nick and Jess, but firstly, I've gotta talk about Cece and Schmidt. That flashback scene where Schmidt says he knew from the first day, I can't. The fact that this show actually gifted us this moment.
You remember this? Looks like it's finally just the two of us, huh?
Oh, God, you're about to say something stupid, aren't you?
Girl, I'm gonna marry you.
Jar.
I know this might seem crazy and probably a little bit impulsive, but it's not. Not for me. I've known since the minute that I met you.
Oh, my God.
Cecilia Parikh.
Oh, God, you're gonna say something stupid, aren't you?
Girl, will you marry me?
Now look, sometimes in the show, the relationships were problematic at times, but overall they were quite rewarding for the viewer. Cece and Schmidt get together quite quickly in the show, but just as quickly they break up. Luckily, fans didn't have to wait that long because they get married in season 5. Nick and Jess, though, these two are another story. It's one of those where everyone can see where it's going, but it just falls short every time. The two engage in various relationships before giving a run at their own. Unsuccessfully, I might add, but still a run. Then finally, the kiss. Then I'm just gonna skip over a lot of their relationship to this moment. Jess thinks that Nick hasn't planned anything for her birthday, but this is what he actually planned, and this is one scene I will always remember.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
You have a cool birthday!
This is the coin I had in my pocket the first night we kissed. And I always have it. Happy birthday, Jess.
Happy birthday to
It doesn't take long for them to exchange I love yous. And then we have the dumbest breakup ever. Like half of their problems would be solved if they did this one really easy thing: communicating with each other. Anyway, the two get back together just in time for the final season, and we see them get engaged and get married. Next up, we have none other than The Mentalist. Now look, some of you may not know this show, but if you're a fan of Castle, Bones, Rizzoli and Isles, those types of shows, then you will like The Mentalist. Much like Castle, we have to wait a while for them to get together. At first, it doesn't even seem like they are heading in that direction. It is much more of a slow burn. There isn't a lot of blatant flirting like in Castle. Their relationship timeline is a bit more complicated. He tells her he loves her for the first time in season 4, but then when she questions him about it, he never explains it. In season 6, we finally get this confession and they finally kiss.
And the idea of letting anyone close to me is terrifying for obvious reasons. But the truth, Teresa, is that I can't imagine waking up knowing that I won't see you. The truth is, I love you.
Look, here's what I like about this relationship. It kind of sneaks up on you, and they all go through a lot throughout the show. There is a lot of healing and growing that needs to be accomplished before they end up together, and I can appreciate that they took that time. It also didn't lead to any breakups, which show that when they were in, they were fully in. In season 7, we see them get married, and we find out that they will have a baby. And that is that. There isn't a lot of back and forth in this relationship. It's all nicely wrapped up in a bow. Next up, we have none other than the Vampire Diaries. Yeah, Stelena fans, you might want to look away for this one. When we first meet Damon, he seems pretty irredeemable. There is only one person who believes that deep down, Damon is a good, redeemable person. Although, when they first get together, some people, including Damon, believes that Elena's feelings are only due to a sire bond. It is later proven untrue when Rebecca compels Elena to tell the truth about her feelings, and she admits that she loves Damon. After Jeremy dies, well, for the time being, Damon uses the sire bond to get Elena to turn off her emotions, which ultimately leads to their first breakup. They get together again, and then break up again, and then after Damon dies, Elena asks Alaric to erase her good memories with Damon. While she can't get her memories back at first, they decide to make new memories together in a new relationship. A while later, Elena ends up being linked to Bonnie in a sleeping curse. Damon shows that he has truly changed when he saves Bonnie's life, knowing that Elena will be asleep the entire time Bonnie is alive. Luckily, our girl Bonnie, who literally always comes through, came through one more time and broke the curse. Damon and Elena got married, and the show ended with them in the afterlife living happy lives together. However, that is not where their story ends. In Legacies, it is revealed that they have children together.
Damon Salvatore has been as generous as he can be, but he and Elena have kids of their own that they need to take care of.
Finally, we have Suits. And then at the end of this video, I have a prediction of a certain two people who aren't currently together, but who I am convinced will end up together. Anyway, back to Harvey and Donna. I have loved these two since day one. They've always had such a good dynamic. These two have such a unique relationship, one that could only be built up through years of trust and friendship. Throughout the show, you can see Donna has been entrusted with a lot of details about Harvey that no one else knows, and he is more vulnerable with her than other people. Now, there are people who think that these two should not have ended up together. I'm not one of those people. Through all the ups and downs, these two have been there for each other. And finally, at the end of season 8, we see them get together, and at the final episode, they get married at Lewis's wedding, and they announce that they will be joining Mike and Rachel in Seattle.
You, Harvey Specter, take Donna Paulson to be your lawfully wedded wife.
I do.
Do you, Donna Paulson, take Harvey Specter to be your lawfully wedded husband?
I do.
Then I now pronounce you man and wife.
Now for my prediction. If you don't know these two already, let me introduce you to, well, I'm going to use their ship name, Chenford. I'm convinced that these two will eventually end up together. Here's to hoping that season 5 of The Rookie will deliver and have them get together. I mean, look at them. You can't tell me this isn't a classic will they, won't they build up. Finally, there are a few couples that I wanted to include in this video, but it was starting to be a bit too long. I really wanted to mention them. I really wanted to include Heart of Dixie, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Jane the Virgin, Younger, Virgin River, and so many more shows. But let me know if you guys like this video, and I'll do a second one where I include those and any couples you guys mention in the comments. Please like and subscribe for more TV and movie related videos. Thank you and happy watching!